What is up, guys? It's Alex the Magician here, back for another Heroes 3 strategy video. And in this one, we are going to be talking about what it takes to be able to break before 1-2-1 on JC. So breaking before 1-2-1 on JC is something that it is very useful to learn how to do, and it is something that you should always strive for when you play online games, because when you watch really good players, they usually will be breaking before week 2, like on 1-1-6, maybe even 1-1-5. And generally, when you break on 1-2-1, 1-2-2, something like that, it's already a little bit late. And if you do that, you likely will have given your opponents the opportunity to already farm the desert for a couple of turns. So the earlier you break, the better chance you will have at actually getting stronger in the desert and also denying your opponent farming the desert. So you will have the best chance of winning the game that way. However, what I will say is that you should not get upset at yourself if you cannot break before 1-2-1. Because it certainly takes practice and it takes a lot of things coming together, and I will discuss that. And you should recognize where you are and kind of try to set realistic goals for yourself. A lot of people have asked me, like, what goals should I have, when I first started out playing, or is it a reasonable goal to do this, or how do I get better, etc. And for me personally, when I started playing, it was a success just to be able to do the break successfully and not die to either my biome or the break. Then, once I was able to do that, then I was super happy when I was able to break before week 3, before 1-3-1. So that was a success for me as well. And then once I was able to do that, I kind of took that down to like 1-2-5, 1-2-3, then 1-2-1. And I remember the first time that I ever broke 1-2-1, I was like, oh my God, I played so well and that was so difficult to do. How in the hell can people break before week 2? Like, how do people do it before, on 1-1-6 or 1-1-5? It seemed impossible at that time. But eventually I was able to do that as well. So, that's what I mean. Like, don't get upset at yourself if you can't do it right away. Just try to get a little bit better, try to get those incremental improvements, and analyze your game. See what you could have done more efficiently, how you could have done things more efficiently, and just try to improve every time you play. Try to put the ideas that you get when you analyze your games into practice, right? In the next game. So also, guys, let me know if you guys would like to see a video on breaking before 1-3-1. I wasn't sure if that video would appeal to a lot of people. I think that a lot of you might will find this one useful, but before 1-3-1, maybe you guys don't need it. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to make that video, but if you guys do think that it would be useful for you, let me know in the comments below, and if enough people say that they would like to see it, then I will make that video as well. All right, so to be able to break before week 2. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna discuss what it takes, and then I'm also gonna show you guys a couple of demonstrations. They're not gonna be super detailed because there's a lot of things to cover here, but I will show you a few maps where I'm going to basically discuss whether or not I think it's possible to break on, before 1-2-1 on those particular maps and why. And I'll also show you guys a couple of quick demonstrations of me actually kind of farming the map and then, doing the break to show you guys that it is possible on those maps, right? So, what does it take? Well, there's going to be 3 things that it's kind of a combination of those 3 things that's going to determine whether or not you can break before 1-2-1. You will certainly need to have a favorable biome. Even the best players in the world are not going to be able to break before 1-2-1 if they have a really bad biome, like with a really long road to the break, not a whole lot of army, or like a bad break or something like that. So you will definitely need help from your biome to actually be able to break early. And at the same time, you will also need to know how to farm efficiently, how to farm, in the quickest way possible, utilizing your main hero for the most important stuff, utilizing side heroes, leveling up your main hero, and then positioning to do the break as early as possible. So, one of those things, the two things alone, like only playing really well or only having a really good biome by itself, it's not going to help you break before 1-2-1. You need to have both. You need to have the skill, and you need to have the good biome and also the skill to be able to kind of actualize that biome and actually fulfill its potential and not like die to the guards and not to spend too much time farming or something like that. So you need those things. So now let's kind of talk about what makes a biome favorable and how, what are the conditions to break before 1-2-1. So there's going to be three things. One is what your break actually is. And I've got tier lists for breaks. I've got a tier list for the hardest breaks and a tier list for the easiest breaks, right? And what I'm talking about when I say you'll need a favorable break, it is something from the top section of this list. So over here, like let's say from here on up, like Naga Queens, upgraded Hydras, anything over here, or like regular Nagas and regular Hydras, those are the easiest. And these guys are really easy. So something that is pretty slow, something that is easily slowable, and something that you can usually do with a decent amount of army and mass slow, right? So anything over here would be considered a favorable break, which would, with a decent amount of army or some other tools to deal with them, would make it possible to break before 1-2-1. Now, on the flip side, if you got anything from here, that would make it a lot more difficult. Especially anything towards the top over here, like Archdevils or Cyclop Kings. Definitely much more difficult to be able to break before 1-2-1 if you're facing one of these breaks. It can still be possible under certain conditions. Like the other day, I was actually able to break Archangels on 1-1-6 because I had a favorable biome and a really good hero. However, the closer your break is to the top of this list, the more difficult it's going to be. And the more tools, like in terms of army or spells or, how good your hero is, you will need to actually be able to break before 1-2-1. And the third thing, second thing would be army, right? So the amount of army that you actually have to be able to deal with that break. And of course, that comes from usually farming hives, pickets, conses, and of course, if you're planning to break before 1-2-1, those are the things that you're going to be relying on. You're not going to be relying as much on external dwellings because usually when you rely on external dwellings, you are going to be waiting for the 1-2-1 growth of those units. Like, let's say you have a couple of Portals of Glorious Castle and you build angels, right? Well, that means you get 8 angels on 1-2-1, so, you can usually break with that, right? If your break is more or less favorable. But, like I already mentioned, it's a little bit slow, right? So, if you want to break before 1-2-1, you're going to be relying more on farming hives, pickets, conses, experimental shops, not so much red towers because a Firebird power stack is not really a power stack, and I really have not even seen that in a real game. But usually you will need something like maybe close to 30 Wyvern or 30 Clops or somewhere around, 8 or 9 Angels or something like 8 or 9 Giants, maybe 7 or 8 Angels. That usually will allow you to do the break like relatively comfortably, especially if you have mass slow. And the third thing is going to be your hero, right? So the better hero you have, the more use you can get out of your army. And what I mean is, specialists like Alamar and Jadid who have Resurrect, especially, well, of course, if you have Earth magic on them, or Eovatius with his clone specialty that gets you a double clone. If he gets water magic, you imagine having three stacks of angels on turn one instead of one. Tazar or Mephala with their armor specialty, Craig Hack or Corcus with their offense specialty. So all of that helps. Or just Luna being able to burn the break, right? And even heroes like Solmir, Deemer, and Aislinn who have Meteor Shower, they can help you as well. So they certainly make your army much better, if you can get a really good hero. And overall, it's going to be a combination of all of those things. So whether or not you can break on 1-2-1, before 1-2-1, is going to be determined by a combination of those three things, like how hard your break is, how much of an army you can get from your biome, and how good of a hero do you have? Like, does your hero give you any additional tools in terms of magic or stats or whatever to be able to deal with whatever break you are facing, right? And I suppose one additional thing is how far the break is from your main town or from any town, because sometimes you can have breaks that are like 4,000 moves away from your town and even the side town. I've had breaks like that. There was like 3.5K from my center town and from the side town, and there were no taverns on the way there. So certainly when you have a large distance to the break like that, it's more difficult to break early. So usually you also want the break to be relatively close to your center town. And if you don't have, so if you have a combination, like, let's say, unupgraded Naga's Break, somewhere around 30 Wyvern, and then you have a hero like, let's say, Eovatius, or you don't even necessarily need Eovatius, but you would need usually somebody with Mass Slow, but let's say you just have Eovatius with Water. That would be relatively easy. You can just utilize that clone, take Retaliation with 1 stacks, and then just take out basically 3 stacks in 1 turn after waiting. And then after that, even if you lose your clones, you can still do relatively well against the rest of the Nagas by just kind of retreating, kiting, and taking 1 stacks, using 1 stacks to take Retaliation. So it is definitely a combination of all of those things to be able to break before 1-2-1. So now let us get into the kind of demonstrations on the map. Alright, so here is a biome that is quite favorable, and with proper planning and proper play, we should certainly be able to break before 1-2-1. So we've got a Chaos Hydra's break, right? A little bit worse than regular Hydra's, but still not bad. Slowable, especially if we get Earth Magic, if we get Mass Slow. Should be relatively easy, and we have quite a few hives in our biome. So hives over here, some XP shops, more hives here, more hives over here. So if we farm all of that efficiently, we should be able to break before 1-2-1, right? Now, of course, I am using the Reveal All Map cheat. I'm also using Resources cheat just to make this faster, just to not, I didn't want to make this an actual, long demonstration of playing. I just wanted to really quickly show to you guys how this can be possible, right? And the thing that I kind of want to stress here is proper planning, because here you can see we do have a lot of hives, but they're kind of far away, right? So we're going to need to be efficient at farming everything. We need to figure out what we can start with and do that with our main, do the first couple of ones with our main, and then do the rest of them with side heroes so that we can actually do that efficiently and focus on getting our main, experience and trying to get Earth Magic, Mass Slow, and then replenishing his mana or doubling his mana, and then breaking before 1/2/1, sending him out to do the break. So what I decided to do is to send Shakti over here for this hive, which is Walking Dead. It's relatively easy, right? So we'll start with that. And then I also sent out heroes to try to chain for that. So, because these hives are also relatively easy. So the plan is to kind of do that first hive. Then after that, try to chain the army back, do these hives, and then have maybe even do that one with another side hero, and then have Shakti go for this hive and that hive potentially, or at least that one, and then maybe do that one with a side hero, and then maybe Shakti either does the experimental shops or the unicorns box or something like that. And after that, we should have a decent enough amount of Wyvern, especially if we have Earth Magic, we should be able to break, right? So let's see how that works out for us. I also decided to get additional troglodytes here because it doesn't seem like we're going to be using the Portal of Summoning. So we might as well and we might as well get some additional meat in case the first hive is big. So with this amount of troglodytes and this amount of meat, we should be completely fine to do the first hive. And maybe even if it's a maxi, we may even be able to do that. First, I might as well get some additional experience for Shakti over here. Fire Magic, eh? Decent sized crypt. Okay. Again, I'm just going to try to do this really quickly. I'm not going to talk you guys through the fights. As I mentioned, this is not the point that I'm trying to get across here. I'm just trying to show you guys how we can farm this in the most efficient way that we can. Actually, probably didn't need to take retail there. Just to not lose any trogs. Oops. We are gonna just try to kite these guys a little bit. There we go. And have an expert offense already is also good. So yeah, I'm pretty sure even a maxi hive will be fine. Having necro meat is a little bit annoying there, but probably save Harpy 1 stacks. Yeah, it's a small one anyway. So we'll just accept it. All right, and then after this, So I think we're just gonna probably ignore the experimental shops and focus on the hives. And here, we're just gonna chain this back. And try to go for these hives, right? Labetha to do that one, or Eris. Eris has better defense. Labetha does have stone skin. I guess right now, better use Eris for this one. This fight, these guys are probably not gonna run away. Well, they almost did. Let's entice that guy to move forward so that our trogs can hit him. Just like that. That's fine. And this is a big one. That's interesting. Okay, it's not a maxi. We'll just accept that. Okay. Oof, that was actually a maxi. Wow, 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 wow. That's so annoying that we actually do this on Labetha. Let's try to utilize Stone Skin at least. With 0/0 stats. Oh, nice. Yeah, ended up losing 2 by 3 HP. Well, we saved 2 though. Alright, but see, 1-1-2 and already 24 Wyvern anyway. Even though that was slightly more painful than I would have liked it to be, we're still completely fine here. And I think, let's see, if we can send one more hero in this direction, like maybe have Spint, go through like that, get rid of Of course, in a real game situation, we would be picking up all of this gold and whatnot, but again, I just wanted to make this demonstration as quick as possible to try to not waste time on doing these kind of simple tasks. So for that reason, we're just kind of trying to expedite this and do things as quickly as possible. All right, so I think this setup should work, and then next turn we just send Shakti to do this fight. Actually, we'll probably just send him for the box, maybe the XP shop in the box. That actually sounds like a decent idea. Let's go. Probably wouldn't have gotten rid of this hero because he has scouting, but I wanted to just get some additional 1-stacks here. And I probably wouldn't have done that either with, you know, portaling, but sometimes it's something that I have done. Something like this. And this one we're probably just gonna skip 5099 Ice Fish. We could do it, but right now I think it's important to be able to chain the army back to Shakti here. Small one here anyway, only a mini. Well, it's okay. 28 Wyvern. Okay, so now we got, wait, what? Get rid of Giselle then. All right, and I think, do I want to do this on Sephiroth right now? I kind of want to have Shakti do this and that, so Sephiroth or Ingam. You know what, it's not going to hurt us. Just save some 1-stacks and we should be fine. Yeah, still lost one. Oh well. Should be able to make up for it though. Just save a few 1-stacks. It's a big one. Actually, Nymus is better. Yeah. Should have used Nymus for the other fight too. So, yep, easy. All right, so that was definitely worth it overall. Only problem now is that we don't really have any 1-stacks, but I think we should be fine. Might as well get one more defense on the way. And this is a maxi XP shop. Wow. I'd probably like to get some 1-stacks before doing it, so let's go for the box first. Go for the box, and I'll send this guy to actually grab the town and get some 1-stacks there. Okay, should be fine. Here, Labetha already has Expert Earth, so we can use her for the break if anything. All right, and here, I mean, we're already almost ready to do the break, right? And of course, guys, this is not 100% realistic because, of course, we used the cheat and, you know, we were able to plan better than we normally would have. But you guys see, we're not actually using any extra army or any extra movement or anything like that. So I'm still utilizing heroes. I'm still utilizing, you know, the army that I had. And the point that I'm trying to get across here is that if you plan properly, this is possible. And of course, in a real game, you would need to scout really, really well. That's the number one thing, is that you need to scout as well as possible and as much as possible so that you can make more better informed decisions. And I will leave links in the description below to my hero chaining guide and some other helpful, like the tier list for breaks and the tier list for heroes, so you guys can check those out and they should be helpful to you as well. Alright, so now we at least have some 1-stacks. And let's see. Okay, easy. Ah, spells box. That's annoying. Well, let's at least do the churchyard, I guess. There we go. There's the earth magic. Nice. And a good artifact. Another decent artifact. Nice. Okay, and yeah, now we're just doing the XP shop, and that should give us enough experience to level our earth magic. So now we just need to buy Mage Guild here and try to roll slow. Nope, no slow. How about Mage Guild here then? No slow, no slow. Slightly sloppy here, but it's fine. All right, there's our Expert Earth, pathfinding, cool. So at this point, yeah, we're just thinking about, already sending Shakti for the break. So really, we just need to pour mana him, get him slow, double his mana, and that's it. Really, we may as well farm one more hive and one more XP shop. But with that, we can already go for the break. So here, we may as well position our heroes to do that hive. We can use the giants. Something like that. Okay. Easy. This hive we're not going to go for, but we do see a prison here that we can utilize. Here I'll just grab the hat so we can double Shakti's mana. And really that's it. I think we're just going to take this other XP shop on the side hero, and at this point Shakti just poor mans, doubles his mana, and moves out for the break. That's 115, and we should be able to break 116. I think very realistic. You know, with this map, with the amount of hives here, with efficient farming of all of that, it's realistic to have been able to break this on this map on either 115, 116, or 117 potentially. So, right here we just poor man. I guess we could have even utilized the town gate, but 5099 of these guys are a little bit annoying to fight. Got some tower meat here. Let's go. So as far as that other, actually tower meat is good. Can do it like this. So how about doing that other XP shop? I think we can do that. Maybe should have been a little bit more efficient with the movement, but that's all right. Here, I'll bring these things just so it doesn't take us too long. All right, cool. It's a mini anyway, whatever. It's only 5 giants. I don't even know if that's worth it to bring it to the break, but we probably will. Yeah, I mean, we can utilize tower 1 stacks to do the breaks, so that's not a bad idea, actually. The only other thing that we need is slow, which we don't have. Okay. Slightly problematic there. Can we roll it here, maybe? There we go. Okay, so looks like we need to buy Shakti back there first and then poor man him again. That way we have slow. There we go. Okay, we got that. Where's that mana? I think Labetha had the hat, like this. So now we, double our mana. And that's it. Now we just move out for the break. So we're just gonna have this army, basically, to do the break. And as you guys will see here, this should be quite easy. Mass slow, and even auto combat is able to do it, right? But we can do even better just for the sake of demonstration. Two, 3. Nice. So there you guys have it. 19 Chaos Hydras, 116 break. So that is how it can be done, right? But again, the points that I'm stressing here is we need the favorable biome with enough army, right? We also need a good hero, with mass slow, decent stats, etc. And we need a favorable break, right? So a combination of those three things, like if this break was Archdevils, for example, this would be much more difficult, right? And maybe I would have waited, until I got like some better artifacts, maybe like this Gladius. Maybe I would have opted to go for Utopias instead before doing the break. So again, it's a combination of all of those things. And just as important, being able to plan and farm efficiently, just like we did with using your main hero for the more difficult stuff to get started, and then utilizing side heroes as much as possible to be efficient. So hopefully you guys found this demonstration helpful. Hopefully you guys learned something. And let me just show you guys another biome just for the sake of demonstration to show you guys where I think a break before 121 would be really difficult, if not impossible. All right, guys, so something like this. So this is a rampart biome, right? And it is just empty as hell. We really just don't have a whole lot here. The break is not that bad. It's champions, 1599, although they're not the easiest. It's not super far, and there's actually a tavern here with the stables here that could make this easier. But in terms of army objects, this is really, really lacking. Like we see one hive over here, and one more hive over here, and one picket. And that's pretty much it, other than this external unicorn dwelling and this dragon dwelling. This would make it, two unicorn dwellings actually. But as I've mentioned in the beginning of this video, dwellings are usually not going to help you break before 121, because you'll usually, if you were relying on the power stack of like having unicorns or dragons, right, you're usually going to be relying on their growth on 121 to be able to give you those additional units so that you can break, right? So on this one, I can't really see how, dude, it would be a challenge just to break on this map, but breaking before 121, I would say close to impossible. Well, probably not impossible. I mean, there's a bunch of dwarf dwellings, so we could potentially get a bunch of dwarves, and depending on the sizes of the hives, maybe, but the problem is this hive is far away. We could have likely not even scouted that, so really all we have to work with are 2 unicorn dwellings and 1 hive. That's pretty much it. Some decent artifacts, but I think that this would be really tough to actually break because we just don't have a damage dealing stack. So that is kind of what I was talking about. No matter how good you are, even the best player in the world will have trouble breaking on before 121 here. So again, you do need favorable conditions in your biome to be able to do that, right? Alright guys, so on that note, I am going to end this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope that you found this demonstration and explanation helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, let me know if you would like to see that video on breaking before 131. And yeah, on that note, I am going to end the stream, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks again for watching. Peace out.